hell, if you ever see me fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear, help the bear, cause that bitch gonna need it.
Hey, Language, you better pick up the phone and call War because you need some help. I don't care if you got a dragon, I don't care if you're an evolved superior rule, or even if you bring out the gods themselves. In a fight with Feng Kowloon, I'm picking the strongest creation. It's chapter 203 of Undead Unluck, and our girl laying through a whole mess of obstacles at the negators this chapter, so let's talk about it. Y bienvenidos a la Dofi Days, it's your boy Darzus, and as you always hear from me, but I mean it wholeheartedly, I hope you're doing amazing. And before we dive into things, I just wanted to say, the Kaiju number 8 anime made its debut yesterday, and it was a beautiful episode. I believe you all should go check that out. My boy, my big brother, the Sly Senpai, makes videos on Kaiju. What the hell are you doing on this channel if you don't watch those as well? And if you didn't like this video, what are you doing right now? Like it, comment, subscribe if you're new here. Let's just talk about Undead. Back in chapter 99, Tella mentioned to Billy that although locked up in jail, Feng had gotten the hang of this soul thing and knew he could become stronger. And although we know he soloed Seal on the way to Ragnarok, that was the true extent we got to see of this strengthened Feng. But today in chapter 202, we got to see the dragon warrior fighting in all of his glory, harnessing his soul to fight, and god dang it, was it a feast for us Fang fans. With no need to get caught up to speed, a sleeping Feng jackhammer kicks a dragon, and without even an explanation, immediately assesses the situation he's fallen into. He looks over to his right, touches Ichiko, showing he's already begun to master his soul, and casually infers that he's in a twisted game of Shiratori. He then leaps towards the dragon to everybody's surprise, especially Language. Feng delivers a large incapacitating blow to the dragon, before analyzing the creature to pinpoint its weak point. And that comes in the form of a reverse scale, a common weakness to dragons in Eastern mythologies. And this just goes to show the double-edged nature of Uma Language's intelligence. Although she is very well versed in all fictional tales, that could come back to bite her due to her imagination being so closely tied to her intelligence. And with a flurry of feints across the dragon's long body, Feng lines up a final decisive blow to decimate the Shin Long Shingsai! And although everybody's astonished with Feng right now, you already know who the most excited person here is. Feng Kowloon, the strongest creation, recognizes the strength of the enemy in front of him and knows he's in for a good time. Just like us, because we are all feasting right now, y'all. And just like we're ready for that feast, Feng is as well. He doesn't care about this little game that Nico and Ichiko are taking part in. He just wants to fight countless and countless amounts of strong opponents, and he knows that Language can give him that. And you know who would be more than obliged to give him just that? Our girl Language. Just as any Uma feeds on something to allow it to ascend to a new phase, Language has consumed enough languages to allow her to execute her trump card. She kicks things up a notch with an evolution. And with this trump card comes another stipulation to the game. Each turn, the choosing player declares 2 words rather than 1. So this girl Language just decided, yeah, F it. We're cheating. She decides to evolve to phase 3 and change the rules. Like, have y'all ever been playing a game of rock, paper, scissors and it's already been established that it's best 2 out of 3, but the person starts losing and they say, nah dude, let's go best 3 out of 5. What if they decided not only best 3 out of 5, but it's best 3 out of 5 and you can't use scissors? Nigga, that's stupid! I'm not gonna lie though, the one saving grace that Language does have in her phase 3 state is that she's kinda... Let me digress. And whenever I say Language is a cheater, I do not mean that lightly, because although she said that you get to take 2 turns per choose, doesn't she take 3 right here? Following her evolution, she decided to add a dead language, Latin, and as soon as she added Latin, as a person who went to Catholic school back in the day, I was like, ah shit, I know what she's adding. Language decides to add Sol and Luna, the sun and the moon, the 2 evil deities which we are fighting this entire game against. And although language says these aren't perfect replicas given her current strength, I think both of these images of Sol and Luna are extremely interesting. This version of Luna, although much larger, is basically the same Luna we've always seen, but Sol is odd to me. The fact that it's this much smaller humanoid form makes me believe that old theory that the black humanoid forms of Sol are nothing more than juniors. So there could be some gigantic, maybe just that actual burning huge sun being the main body of the Uma or God or whatever Sol and Luna may be. But these black versions, these humanoid figures, are nothing more than just juniors, and it would even make sense if you go back and look at Ragnarok, because there's a crap ton of those which come out of the sun right then, and I've always just thought the sun is nothing more than an Uma factory, but heck, getting ahead of myself. Nonetheless, the battle posed right here is amazing. The strongest creation versus literally Uma language's strongest creation. A battle between the pinnacle of human and supernatural imagination. Who will win? Sing Sai. Who do you freaking think's going to win? And I love this sort of cosign on Feng's strength right here, with all of the fraudulent allegations against our boy Feng trying to say that he might not be as up to snuff as what he is posed to be. He is. A master rule basically just said, the only thing in my imagination that could beat Feng Kowloon are the gods. Take that. Unless you summoned Undead, I genuinely don't think there's anything else who's beating Feng Kowloon. He is him. Timothy, put it in your... And even from a metaphorical perspective, think about Berserk. In a world where you have to take down gods, where you're fighting against entities which are just so powerful you can't even comprehend it, the only thing which you can bring to battle is a goddamn dragon slayer, bro. Come on! Feng Kowloon, I'll get off my high horse, but guys, respect the GOAT. So Feng sings high, he's ready to begin his exhibition. He takes his combat positioning, but Nico tries to hold him back. And this entire interaction was just beautiful. Chapter 202, 203, I forgot what fucking chapter we're on right now. However, it was one of my favorite chapters of Undead Unluck in a really long time, and it's because of these beautiful interactions between two individuals, Nico Vergel, Feng Kowloon, two of my favorite characters in the entire series, especially because how similar they are, realizing those similarities. My favorite aspect about Feng is his true anti-hero nature. Although he's often on the right side of things, this loop, his selfish motivations have always outweighed any sort of rational thinking for Feng. And in many ways, Nico's really similar. His drive towards scientific discovery has caused him to take on a very selfish nature as well. He dedicates too much time and effort towards his work, he neglects the benefits which could be made for others, and he's always selfishly doing things which are only of interest to him. And it wasn't until Nico met the others, developed relationships with people such as Ichiko, and used science to help people aside from himself, that he realized the limits of walking a selfish path for your own. Although Feng should have came to this same realization during the Tenraisai tournament, this is what I love about him so much. I know, and you all know, that Feng knows this more than anybody. The fact that he has Unfade, this ability which makes him have to walk a lonely path, means he's probably tried to come to terms with that bit of trauma in his path. But when my nigga Feng is in the presence of a strong combatant, all rational thinking goes out the window. My nigga said, dog, let me fight Sol and Luna. Let me fight the gods. I don't care about Ichiko. Nico, you get unforgettable. That'll fix things. I felt him right here. But as I mentioned, whenever I say Feng does understand these things, that is why whenever he hears Nico's speech about all of these things, all these realizations, he immediately just accepts it. Because he knows somewhere deep down in his heart that he can't be alone, that he loves Shin, that he loves Mui, all that sort of junk. Feng is literally the GOAT character of Undead Unluck. And I can't attribute all the coolness of this speech to Feng because, Nico was the one who delivered it. It was good to have him state all of these realizations out loud too, not only just for Ichiko to hear the appreciation towards her and all that love and yada yada yada, but for us to also get the reassurance that Nico, even without developing Unforgettable, is coming to a lot of these realizations. And yeah, it's just a beautiful little interaction, Undead Unluck in its peak this week. But with time winding down on the clock, Feng tells Nico to get your head back in the game. What words do we have to work with? And our boys come up with a tag team special for the ages. Nico executes an absolute Nola, and Fang executes an Eastern Winds ballistic kick. Nico's move, obviously, absolute zero to be able to immobilize both Sol and Luna, but our boy Fang immortalizing himself within the realms of history. Just making up a move on the win, but I love this whole idea in Undead Unluck of like, truly just, making your mark in stone. This nigga literally just wrote his move into the world. Like, the most hard-boiled individual. I love Fang so much, and I would talk about the character popularity poll, but I just don't need to. I think it speaks loud enough for itself. In the top 6 characters, you saw who reigned supreme, and number 3, above the likes of Andy, above the likes of Nico, above the likes of probably most of you guys' favorite characters, was my favorite character. I was gonna make just like a separate video on character popularity poll. But yeah, I just don't really care to go too in depth about it because, looks similar to as always, except for the fact that my boy Feng Kowloon has finally earned his spot on that podium. I don't know if that's all out of memes or if people are genuinely in love with the whole aspect of this guy being a single dad, the stepfather, the father who stepped up. Because he's truly the goddamn GOAT. I just love this character, and whenever he's on screen, I just have a better time reading. I don't know. There's probably a character like that for y'all too. I need to get out of here and edit this stuff. So.